Happy day. I'm so glad you opted in. I am ecstatic to share this great news with you. I am going to start by telling you a little bit of a story of when my child was first born, and that was almost 25 years ago. His first 2 years of his life, we were in and out of the doctor's offices at least once a month, if not twice a month. Ear infections, viral stuff, constipation. I didn't think it was normal, but the doctor said, this is what children are all about. It's normal. I didn't feel good about the amount of antibiotics and medicine that my child was getting that young. So I felt very uneasy and felt like I needed to do something. And when I moved to another state, the new pediatrician, I was telling him my son's history, and without even examining him, he said, "Oh, it sounds like he's allergic to milk." And I was flabbergasted that he would be able to tell me what is wrong without even examining him. And I thought, okay, he suggested to take him off the formula and put him on soy milk. And lo and behold, no more ear infections. He didn't even need the tubes that the other doctor was saying he needed. Constipation went down horribly. And so that was life-changing information. Something that little changed my life so drastically. And so I started from there on, looking into more of the natural medicine. I did ask the doctor, why is it that the other doctor didn't offer that piece of information and you did? And he said, well, some doctors just stick to conventional medicine and others do something like I do. We also like natural medicine. And so I decided that was the way to go for me and my family. And I dove in, learning about the different things that I could do when my children were sick, etc. Don't get me wrong, I did use conventional medicine. I mean, you always do to a certain point, but you do your best, at least I did, to do natural healing as much as I could. And so bottom line, I have that background 25 years ago. I started that. And when I was done having children about the late 30s, early 40s, I started noticing that my system was no longer working the same, and I couldn't figure it out why. I mean, this is as raw as it gets, people. I was shocking people with the amount of gas that I was producing. It was horrible. My children didn't want to be around me. They literally would squirm and leave the room or threaten to disown me. It was not a fun time, and it was getting worse. And so I had to make a choice. What do? I want to be with my family, so that means I can't eat certain foods when they're around. And I thought I can handle that. I thought, well, I'll sacrifice food for my family. And bottom line is I didn't like that answer either, but I dealt with it as best as possible. And it was just not getting better. It was getting worse as I aged. And I hit a wall. It was affecting me in every situation that I can think of. At work, at home, with outings. It was taking over my life. I was too conscientious of where I was going to be, if there was a bathroom near me, or if I was going to be outdoors, indoors, meetings. It was just constantly on my mind because I could not control it. It was horrible. I felt like a little 90-year-old grandma who has lost certain functions and walks around tooting. And I thought, this is crazy. I'm not 90 years old. This can't be. So bottom line, I was desperate. And the only thing I can think of, I'm like, light bulb went on. Well, geez, you have been looking into natural ways for most of your life. Why wouldn't you do it now? Go out there, figure it out. You can do it. You know where to go and where to start. So I decided to do it two ways. I went the conventional way first because I wanted to see what the doctors and the specialists would say. I was looking to see if they would, there was a diagnosis, etc. And yes, lo and behold, I went through horrible testing. I don't wish it upon anyone. I mean, detoxing diets. They took me off of every food that I was eating and introduced one at a time. And I would have to figure out what my stomach was doing and then blow into bags and seal it and take it to labs. It was horrible. It was horrendous. So, diagnosis, I was literally allergic to everything sugar, including natural sugars and dairy. That was like a blow to me because I thought I could get back to eating the foods that I love, but apparently not if I'm allergic to sugar. I mean, everything converts to sugar, and even natural stuff was just too harsh on my stomach. So bottom line, it did not look good for me, people. It did not. And so with that diagnosis, I decided to, try and figure things out. But there was too much conflict of opinions. The natural medicine said something different than conventional, and then within their own realm, it was too confusing. Some said take it during the day, in the morning, some at night. Some, they have to be in bottles, glass bottles or plastic bottles, or they have to be live and certain dosages, quantities. It was just crazy. Who could figure it all out? What I decided to do, the easiest thing to do, was just to try some different types and see what that would do. Never really worked out for me very well at all. And so bottom line, I've been waiting and waiting to see when something would come up that fit the idea I had in my mind of what would take care of my issues. And it wasn't happening fast enough. But lo and behold, one of these companies that I was looking into and loving their products, I was next to one of the business owners one day, and I just kind of threw it out there and said, wow, you guys, have you thought of doing some digestive products? So many people suffer from it. Perhaps in the line of probiotics. I just threw it out there. And can you believe it? 2 years later, that company came out with their digestive line. And to me, it was God sent, but I felt like a kid at a candy store because I was hoping that this would be it, that this would help me and work for me. And yes, thank you, it did. I was originally thinking that my symptoms, if they can at least lower some of the symptoms, and if I can at least eat a couple of things that I liked, that would be good enough. Well, these products went over and beyond. I mean, just like that little bit of piece of information that pediatrician gave me about my son being allergic to milk, and that changed his whole life completely. The same thing here. These products that came just transformed my life completely. I cannot even begin to tell you. They obviously allowed me to eat what I loved and be around my family. But the perks and bonuses, I mean, I was now losing weight that I could not even consider getting off because nothing worked. And I was now focused and had energy again, and I could, reach my goals faster than I had before. And I was sleeping like a baby for the first time. I thought, my gosh, I was a light sleeper and that I was just, I just wake up with little noises and I'm just a light sleeper. No, wrong. We should sleep deeply and like a baby and wake up refreshed. And I never knew until this came along. It not only did that for me, but like stress was being handled differently in my body. I was happier, more positive outlook. My women's issues gone. Oh my gosh, yeast infections, bladder infections taken care of. And it just goes on and on. My allergies gone. I didn't have to take Zyrtec D over the counter stuff anymore. I just cannot begin to tell you the transformation that happened in my life because of these products. And so just like that doctor changed my life, I am hoping that this information will change your life for the better. I know you're out there looking for something like I was, and I guarantee you this is the answer. You just have to look into it, try it, and see and feel the difference.